I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How was your life?
Going. Ooh, hit it twice. Sounds so nice. I hit it twice. And make sure you guys go to our website. When you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com, you'll see all the ways that you can support us. Best thing you can do is share this with somebody else. Look for our clips channel on YouTube, Opposites Attract Podcast Clips, and share a clip with somebody else. Find your favorite clip, send it to somebody, let them know about the podcast, tell them to subscribe, to like, to comment, all that stuff. You guys do that. It helps us out.
Yes. So we have our older dog, Nisi, laying on the floor right in front of us.
She's just passed out.
She's 114 years old.
In dog years.
Yes, in dog years. 17 years old.
Yeah, 17 in dog years. I mean, in human years, which is, that's a lot for a dog. So
I was sitting here just looking at her, and she looks so, what words would you describe her?
Peaceful.
And fragile.
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
Right?
She does seem very fragile. Like as we see her like around the house, because we have like hardwood floors downstairs. Sounds nice, but they're a disaster. But they're slick, especially for her with her paws and everything, and she's got her nails, and she like slips and slides, and it's hard for her to like keep her balance and stay up. And she didn't used to have problems with that, you know. No. So sometimes she just kind of like falls down just when she's walking.
Yeah.
She has trouble getting up the stairs, you know. So actually there was one morning, it was like it didn't seem like she wanted to go down the stairs or up the stairs, and I just picked her up and I took her down. You know, she doesn't usually let us do that.
Yeah. But, and it just, looking at her and knowing that is inevitable for us.
Yeah.
We will get to that point in our life where mobility is challenging.
You know what? I think I was actually thinking about that this morning before I went to go play basketball. I don't know why or what brought that up, but I think about it every once in a while, you know, because I do jujitsu. And lately, you know, like I've been thinking about, like, I'm in probably the best shape I've ever been in, you know, in my entire life at 41. But you can't maintain this forever.
Yeah.
I can do the best I can, and it is what it is. But no matter what, it doesn't last forever. There was something that I was watching, and it was about that. It was like eventually you age. Eventually your looks go away. Eventually everything will fall apart.
Yeah. And, you know, just the simple things of getting out of bed, brushing your teeth, tying your shoes, getting in and out of a car, and signing your name.
Yeah.
Like all those things that we just
that are easy to
naturally
do. Yeah.
Become very challenging. And I remember the first time this actually became not in my awareness, but it hit me hard was when I was growing Trust Inc., the mobile notary agency, and I was doing all these home loan closings, and some of them were what are they called?
Like a refinance?
It's for a lot of
They're
older
pulling
couples,
equity?
Reverse mortgages.
Yes.
And I would, you know, reverse mortgages. Oh my God. They were like 200 plus
pages.
And I would go to their homes and husband and wife. It's so sweet. Like you see them together. And
how old are they?
Normally, I don't know. I don't remember, you know, anywhere from like, there was one that was like 83, but a struggling like 83.
Well, I'm saying because
you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, his hand was shaking and it was tough for him. And I know he was feeling a certain way. And I just told him, I'm like, listen, take your time. Like when I took these reverse mortgages, I knew that it was going to be longer So I normally didn't schedule anything from myself after these reverse mortgages.
Yeah.
But seeing, you know, the wife like just helping him, talking him through it, and then me just letting him know it's okay. Like, I have nothing scheduled after this. But you can see it in his face.
Yeah.
You know, it's those things. It's those things. And especially if you are someone that is so used to being independent and not asking for help, when you get to that stage of your life when things are changing, for some it's a hard reality. It's a hard pill to swallow when these changes are happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I think about that, you know, and I think also for people that put a lot of their identity into these things that are going to fade away.
Yeah.
You know, like like being in shape and being healthy and fitness and working out, like that's all great. But if it's like such a huge part of your identity, when it fades away, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you know, like you hear a lot of times for women that, you know, they put so much into their looks and maybe they're models or whatever. And it's like, you know, eventually that's going to fade away too.
Right. Yeah. And so, you know, she's just a great reminder. She's just a great reminder. Like every day I see her, it's just like, wow, one day, like that will be me. And having the patience, for me, because she wakes me up, right? Like you have to wake up super early, and, you know, I'm a very light sleeper. So, you know, she's up there. So she'll cry when she wants water, and when she needs to go out. And I used to get frustrated. Like, I have to get up and let her out, you know? And then I thought about me.
Yeah.
You know, when it's my turn. Right. You know, and how it's crazy because I know she's a dog, but still, like how do I want my kids to feel?
It's empathy for another being.
Yeah. You
know, like when you understand things in that way, I mean, you don't want your pets to suffer. You don't want even animals in the wild, if they don't have to suffer, why would you want them to suffer?
Yeah. And she gets so excited, even in the middle of the night. Like I'm taking her out, I'm getting out of the bed, and there she is, just so excited. Like
she's
her
like
tail
prancing around. Yeah.
And she's rested, so she has like movement, you know?
And for her, when she struggles getting up and down the stairs, and like we said, she's our really old dog. To even see her just a little excited like that is awesome.
Yeah. Like I said, dogs, I've said this before, they are a great part of the family because they teach us so much. And our children, they teach us so much. And we went through some of this with our other dog, but not so much because he passed away from, we assumed it was cancer.
Yeah, it was.
It was fast. Quick. It was, it wasn't something expected, right? Like with her, we've got to really witness her and her life, you know, and how she's gotten to where she's at today, and seeing the struggles of.
But it's cool seeing, like, we can still see her personality even through her old age. Yeah. Like she's older now and she struggles, but she's still happy. Like you said, every once in a while she kind of prances around.
Yeah.
And if you rub her, she does the same thing that she's always done, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
So hopefully, like that there is my goal.
Yeah.
Right? When I get up in there, you know, just to
age gracefully.
Yes. And be okay with what is, right? Like just being okay with what is.
And I think.
And accepting. Like just accepting.
You know, there's also something about like respecting in a way, because you can disagree and still have respect. You can disagree with ways of thinking, but you can respect somebody's experience and how long they've been around. Excuse me. Just respect for another being that's been around here for a while, that's had experiences, been through some hard things in their life. You don't know what the hell that may have been. Mm-hmm. But like there was an example that I've shared in the past about a lady that we ran into in the parking lot of the supermarket, or I think it may have been inside, but she was an older lady, and she just started talking to us, and telling us something about how she was like, I don't know if she had like some medical conditions or she had brain cancer or something.
Oh yeah, in the
and she
parking
just
lot. Okay.
and it was one of these things that for a lot of people maybe it would have been like, wow, this lady doesn't stop talking, and she just keeps going.
Right.
But when I really thought about it in that moment, like I'm looking at this lady, and I can see that she's maybe in her 80s or close to 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she doesn't have all the time in the world left.
Yeah.
And she is choosing to spend this time with me and with you.
Yeah.
Like, I felt special, And I was like, I'm going to sit and listen to what she has to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times we can be very dismissive of those that are up there in age. There's so much wisdom. Like if you were just to, and I know there are some that are very just angry, right? Like there's just something that happened. There's pain,
sometimes
trauma, regret that sits within them.
And they're done
and if you
putting up with people's shit.
And if you can get past that, right? Like I just love, that's what I thought about, being a volunteer
sometimes,
at one of those, at those, homes for the elderly.
Yeah.
But, just listening to their story, like, it's like they have so much that they want to share, but not many people that are willing to take a listen. And when I mean take a listen, I mean really listen.
Yeah, and sometimes it feels like as people get older, like you said, they're like unseen.
Yeah.
Like nobody's looking at them when you're going to the store. Like it's like, I don't know. But like with everything, jiu-jitsu is one of these things that kind of forces you to think about some of these things because you get older and you are not the best. Even if you're a black belt, Father Time catches us all. Yeah. And if you can't do it, what are you supposed to do? You teach, you show. You still have experience that you can pass down.
Right.
Yeah.
On another note, I was in a deep conversation with a friend of mine.
About a dog?
And she has
No.
2 younger kids. We're the same age, but she just had them, a little older. She has a 3 and a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And she was talking about the challenges of motherhood and how she never wanted children.
Yeah.
Until she met, her husband. And we have a lot of similarities. So as I'm listening to her, I'm like, oh, I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But she was talking about how her little son, he's very active, right? And she's like, she's like, there's times, she's like, I have a friend who has 5 kids and she is always put together and is an amazing mom. When we're together, she's very loving and caring and nurturing. And just, she is that because I can feel it from her. Like that's who she is.
Right.
And I told her, I'm like, I said, there are some that just, they have it within them.
Yeah.
I said, I know for me, 2 is enough. Like I said, there were days where I was struggling, right? Like feeling, I remember when you and I went out on a date and I just started bawling.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was, Audrey was a newborn. And I'm just like, I'm a bad mom. Like I just was struggling.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, with you being supportive in the way you are, you know, it's great. But I know me, and I am not one to have 5 kids. Right. Yeah. And yes, you know, I yelled at them. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. And she was, you know, getting down on herself because of that.
Yeah.
She's like, and when I shared with her, I said, I understand how you feel. I said, because that's how I felt.
Yeah.
You know? And she said that, I'm like, you know, I bet you there are tons of women that feel the way we feel and then feel guilt and shame, and they never speak it out loud. It takes one person to be brave enough and to be courageous enough to say, man, today was a hard day. This one threw up on me. You know, this one, you know, ran out the door. I forgot to put the top lock on.
Yeah.
Ran out the door. Woke up, you know, I woke up and was just,
yeah,
you know, like it takes one to be courageous enough, brave enough to speak.
Yeah.
And by doing so, you'll give the other women permission to speak, and you will see that you are not alone.
Yeah. And like you said in the beginning, some people are that way. Yeah. You know, like,
oh my God.
One thing that I've learned, and it's funny because I looked this up. You were saying that, and it reminded me of the saying, "Comparison is the thief of joy."
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that comes from the Bible. All the good stuff comes from the Bible, huh? But I mean, if you're comparing yourself to the lady that has 5 kids and she's all put together, and you have 2 kids and you're a fucking mess, you know, it's like, you have no idea what that person's story is. And you know what I've noticed, that like it always kind of goes back to jiu-jitsu or whatever, but there's somebody that I've listened to for a long time, Jocko, right? Mm-hmm. And like a lot of times you listen to people, or you start liking people or their material or whatever, and their stuff is good. It's influential in your life. It helps you get your shit together, all this stuff, but you like them. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you feel like you have to fucking be them. Mm-hmm. Thing is, Jocko is a former Navy SEAL commander.
Yeah.
Like literally combat in Afghanistan and Iraq and all that kind of stuff. Started jiu-jitsu in the 90s, not in his late 30s. You know, so for me to think that I need to be waking up at 4:30 in the morning every single fucking morning like Jocko Willink does because I like his books is insane. To think that I have to do that every single, like, because he fucking does it on Christmas. He does it on his birthday. He does it on fucking the Navy's birthday. He does it on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have to do that. I can just be me.
Yes.
I can take influence, yes. I can take inspiration, but I don't have to be that. And a lot of times I think people feel like they have to be, like if they like it, you have to be that too. And if you're not being that, then you're not as good, or you're not worthy enough. Right. Like if you're not like that mom with the 5 kids that's all put together, then you're failing.
And, right, so that's what you're seeing, right? But you don't know the truth. You don't know you don't know the challenges that she goes through. You don't know, right?
But if she is, great.
Yeah.
Take it as inspiration.
It's kind of like...
But even still, her story, I guarantee you, is different.
Right. No, because we create the stories within our own minds through comparison.
Or you don't know the story.
Right.
You really just don't.
Yeah. And that's, the same thing, you know.
Because you're just seeing the lady that's put together. Maybe she is put together. She has it all together. But she had a fucking terrible childhood that made her get her fucking shit together so she could be the way she is now. And you don't see any of that. You just see the lady with the 5 kids that's got her fucking shit going on now.
Right. Yeah. I was, It's kind of like you and I were talking about, how is it that you can get one person who is raised in an abusive home, right? And you have that individual who decides to live and be or do what he's seen growing up. So he is now an abuser.
They perpetuate it.
Right? And then you have another individual who grew up in an abusive home and decides that he's never going to hit women.
Or deal drugs or go to jail or any of that stuff.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
We all have a choice. We all have a choice.
Yeah.
And every choice we make leads to where we are today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Man. So there's been there's been all kinds of stuff happening lately. And recently, one thing that I want to get into here in a little bit, but there's been like these things coming up for us in our family, in our life, that we've been talking about. One was like we had the concert with Redman and Method Man, and I had my last jiu-jitsu tournament. I got another one coming up next week. We had the Joe Coy show that we went to a couple days ago. We got my mom moving to town. Now we got the holidays coming up. So it's just been a lot of stuff. And right now we kind of got to the point where like a lot of the big stuff is all kind of behind us. Mm-hmm. And we're heading into the holidays, kind of, I don't know, maybe chill mode a little bit, kind of relax. It is going to be more family time the next couple, couple months. It's going to be fun. But there was a moment sometime this week where I was driving back from somewhere and I was with Joey. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of like looked over at the driver's seat. It's one of those moments that you just have. At least I have them. I have them and I look for them. I try to have them. Mm-hmm. Where I just look over at him and I see, like, we see every day how big he is, how big he's getting. He's 13 and he's fucking hitting this growth spurt. Like, dude, he's taller than his mom now. He's taller than his sister now. I took him to the doctors
recently.
I'm going to have to start hitting him with sticks.
And maybe 3 weeks ago, like a month ago, he was 4'11".
Yeah.
You know?
I know. I'm going to have to start hitting him with stuff. I'm just kidding. No, and he's like the biggest sweetheart ever, If
you don't piss him off.
Yeah, I mean, he can hold a grudge, but.
Yeah.
But no, he's a sweetheart. And so I'm driving and I look over at him and I just kind of, I'm filled with love. Mm-hmm. Love for my boy.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, I can't ever imagine not having a relationship like this with him. Mm. Like, I can't imagine what that would be like. Like, I imagine our relationship in the future. But how does it not get better?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or even we grow and you have your own family.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah. No, yeah. Because he's going to need you. Like he's
not
going
even
to
need, like, I'm going to want to be there for him to be in those moments to, like, teach him. Yeah, like you said, he is going to need me, like, in certain parts of his life. Like, hey, Dad, how do I change the brakes on my first car? Hey, Dad, how do I do, and I'm going to always be there,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to be like we were talking about earlier. When I can't do it myself, he's going to have the strength, the muscles, the back for me to be able to instruct him on how to do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But in that moment, I couldn't imagine, like, I barely have a relationship with my dad. I can't remember the last time I talked to him.
Yeah. That's one of those things. Like, some of us were meant to be parents and others just were not. And that's okay. And that's okay.
It is okay. That it is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Audrey and I, she's going through this, her first breakup.
Yeah. That's okay. That's life.
And just being there to hold her. That's all. That's all. I'm just there to hold her this morning, just to hold her And then share stories. Share my stories with her.
Yeah. And,
you know, like, and that's it.
Right.
And that's it. Just to hold her. Not to save her. Not to make it, just allow her to feel. I want her to feel. I don't want her to run from the emotion. I want her to feel.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want her to numb it. I want her to
15,
feel it.
Right? Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know? I told her, write a list. Write a list of the things. Write a list of the things, the reasons why you broke up with him.
Yeah.
Just as a reminder. As a reminder.
No, and today we went and had to take care of some stuff, and she was a little sad. You know, when we got home, we pull into the garage, and I can see that, her emotions were a little hurt.
Yeah.
So, and she's 15. Like I said, she's not a little girl.
No.
So before she kind of ran inside, I was like, hey, come here, and I just give her a big hug, and I just hug her for a little while. And, I just told her, I was like, it's going to be okay. Yeah. Like, and I'm proud of you.
Before I walked in her room, because I'm already because I can feel her.
Cut it out.
Like I can feel her pain.
Yeah.
And I'm over here tearing up, and I haven't even seen her yet. And I'm just like, okay, just keep
Didn't you ask me? You asked me?
Yeah.
Before?
Yeah.
Like, you were like, is she, or did I tell you?
I heard her come in and go straight into her room.
Oh, okay.
And I was mopping, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go check on her. But it's just one of those things. And look, I know, we're doing the best that we can with what we know, and we continue to learn and to grow as
best we can.
Yes, the best that we can. And we're giving them all of us, right? And what you did, just hugging her as that fatherly figure, just being there for her. Like, oh, I'm just like, I didn't have that. I didn't have that. But she does.
Yeah.
And Joey does. Like, we are creating the things that we are doing are going to help them to have a healthy relationship with themselves and with others. Right? And I can't remember what I was listening to, but it was talking about, marriage, parenting. Oh, I know what it was. It was the Ultimate Coach book. I was listening to it. And Steve Hardison was talking about his relationship with Amy, and that their kids got to witness what a healthy relationship looks like, what a healthy disagreement looks like.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know how many disagreements we have, because it doesn't feel like there's many,
Yeah.
But I don't.
Not anymore.
I know.
I mean, we settle things pretty easily.
My thing is, I don't want them to be like, oh my God, my mom and dad have like a perfect relationship. It's like, maybe we should start talking to them about the things that we went through at the beginning, that because they're seeing this relationship now that we have, and it's going to be something that they aim for.
Well,
do you understand? Or something that they want. Yes. But my dad is this and my mom is that, and they are and we are, and no. You have to understand.
I think growth is always the key. Like, as long as you find somebody that is willing to grow with you, that's all you need in life. Because you guys can both figure everything out together.
Well,
if you want to do it together.
Yeah. So
that may not be easy to find.
And that's the thing. And she's young. Audrey's young.
Right.
But if you would have told, if that's the advice you would have given her, she would have stayed with him. And he is a good kid.
Yeah.
And she knows it's hard to find because she talks about the boys at her school and how they think and how they act and how they are. And she's like, ugh.
But yeah, true.
You know?
But people change too. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that advice, you know, like that is something that we talk to them about. I mean, I don't even know if they, we've talked about our first dates with them.
No.
I mean, they're going to learn everything about our relationship when they start listening to our podcast. Go to episode 1. No.
And then start listening 1 through 300 something.
And then they'll realize that mommy and daddy did not have a perfect relationship.
Yeah. You hear all this stuff.
You will hear, you and some. Yep. You know? Yeah. Because I already see it with Audrey. And when we talk, what she visions and her expectations for a relationship.
Yeah.
This is not how you start. The way we are today is not like it's. Yeah. This is after 16 years.
Like I said, there's a balance in everything. You got to have certain, I mean, it's not expectations, but at a certain point, do you respect yourself? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah.
So you got to have some standards, some type of standards.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So, you have anything else on that?
And the standards are things that it's intangible, like character.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
somebody's playing some music.
Where did that? Is that your phone? That has to be your phone.
What? No. Why would my?
What the?
I have it on Do Not Disturb.
What the? Hold on. For those of you listening, no, I think somehow Alexa is playing out in the living room, blasting. How the hell did that just? Anyway.
Was that you?
It just started playing in the other room out of nowhere.
So anyways, yeah, we just went or came from, not just.
Wait. No. Let's do that in a minute. Because before we do that, we got something to tell you guys. Okay. You guys could probably tell we got.
That's what I was getting into.
But before we do that, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know. And like I said before, the best thing you can do is share a clip with somebody. Tell them to go to our clips channel, go to our podcast channel on YouTube, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff. It really helps. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Instagram at Opposite Pod on everything. And if you guys want to help us out, there's a bunch of holidays coming up. You guys can shop through Amazon and help us by going through our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Click on the support the show link. It'll take you to the Amazon link, and anything you purchase through that helps us out.
Yes. And
that's it. We need to do the other. We got to figure out the other stuff. But yeah.
Yes. Oh, and I'm going to throw this out now. Those of you that have been maybe thinking about hitting me up for a gifting session, okay, those are on again. So if you are interested in a free gifting session with me, my gift to you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Feel free feel free to give me a call
at 602-633-5658.
I need to check that number, by the way. I don't know if that's still working, still going.
Yeah.
Or you can go to
healinghearts@SonjaRamirez.com. You can send her an email, or just get a hold of Sonia.
Yes.
Get a hold of us.
I am also working on a group container.
Like a group coaching?
That's going to be absolutely amazing. And I'm going to keep it very intimate. So I'm thinking anywhere from 5 to 10 individuals. It's going to be 90 days of online coaching. So it doesn't matter where you live. But I'll get more information about that. I just want to throw it out there now. And it's going to start the beginning of January.
Okay.
So send me an email. Let me know if you're interested, or if you know someone who's, just having a hard time. They're wanting to start the new year right. They're wanting to let go and release some things, maybe some limited beliefs, whatever it is that's been holding them back, whether it's from regarding relationship, whether they're wanting a closer relationship with their children, maybe they're hitting a ceiling with their business. They're not quite sure why, what's going on. They feel that they're made for more, whatever it may be. This course is going to help with all of those things.
Nice. And we'll get more information on that too.
Yes.
So
as we were stating.
Yeah. We got some fresh gear that we're wearing. You got a nice hoodie.
Yes.
Dude, I love this t-shirt. I love the material, the feel of it. And it's all from Joe Coy stuff.
Yes, yes, yes. So
like we mentioned earlier on the podcast, we had a Joe Coy show to go to last Thursday.
Yes. And we made a decision that we were going to take the kids
to their first comedy show.
First comedy show in Prescott, Arizona.
Yeah.
And, Joe Coy is a funny dude, right?
He is hilarious.
Yes. And most of the time, it's not so, like, he'll talk about some off the wall stuff, like, sex, whatever. But
like
it's
comedians
not
do.
Right. But it's not consistent. He'll throw, it's not. If we look at the previous ones, not as much, right? So we're like, okay, it's cool, right? Oh my goodness.
The kids learned some things the other night.
Oh my goodness. It was funny as shit because he was talking about
all kinds of stuff
when he was a boy.
Yeah.
Right? And how boys are with their Peter.
Yep.
How they become best friends. Hand in hand. No. And Joey's sitting by me.
Yeah, we didn't do a good job.
Audrey is sitting by Miguel.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can feel Joey laughing because his whole body is shaking. And he's talking, and Joe Coy's talking about his stiff socks. So you guys already know where this is going, right? And so Joey at first was all hugging me and all on me. And then all of a sudden, Joe Coy started with his jokes. And then Joey just kind of shifted and started looking away from me, but laughing his ass off.
Yeah, we did a terrible job at introducing kids to comedy.
No, they
because
loved it.
Because I was sitting next to Audrey and they're talking about jizz and all this fucking stuff.
Yeah.
And like I have my daughter sitting next to me. I could have had Joey next to me and you could have had her next to you. But no, she's sitting next to me and Joey's sitting next to you. And the thing is, well, I think this is probably a great
Normally, it's never like that,
so
though.
Look,
yes.
This is a great parenting tip because if you haven't explained the birds and the bees to your kids and you really don't know how much they do know, and it's about that time for them to know, take them to a comedy show.
No,
They're going to fucking find out because guess what? Joey was laughing at all kinds of shit that I would have never thought he would have been fucking laughing at.
I would have because I talked to him about stuff.
Oh, really?
You have not?
No, not about all kinds of stuff. But anyway, like now that you see him laughing, you don't have to fucking pull the dildo out of the drawer and be like,
God,
hey.
babe, shut the hell up. That is not a great
You don't have to be like,
tip.
well, do you know what this is? Because Joe Coy did it for you. He was already talking about that. And when he started laughing, we knew that he knew.
Don't listen to Miguel.
You don't have to do all that. No. Let him do it for you.
Dude, I've talked to Joey about petting his Peter.
Yeah? Oh, jeez. I'm sure he fucking loves talking to his mom about that shit.
But anyways, what was so cool is that the kids were open enough to like talk to us. And when Audrey and I went to the bathroom, she's like, Mom, I should have been sitting with you. She's like, I felt so uncomfortable. She's like, I wanted to laugh so hard. But Dad was right there. And, but it was so funny. It was so funny. But they were able to talk to us, right? And share how they were feeling, right? Even on the drive home. But I think it was a fun experience for them. And to kind of let loose. And especially for Joey, not to feel shame
about all these things.
Exactly.
Like to be able to talk about this stuff 13. Openly. Yeah.
Yes. He is 13. So I felt like it was a good thing to see it, to hear everyone around laughing about it, and that every boy does it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
No, it was awesome. It was awesome for them to have that experience. And so I want to kind of like share a little bit for those that don't know, like how we got introduced to Joe Coy. So anyway, long time ago, about the time that this podcast started, maybe a few years before that, I had gotten into podcasts, like listening to podcasts. And I used to listen to this podcast called The Adam Carolla Show, and Joe Coy used to be a guest on that show. Like, I'm talking about like over 10 years ago, like a long time ago. Yeah. And I used to listen to the show, and I thought Joe Coy was funny, and I showed you some of his stuff. And then one year he came to town, and we went to check him out. And dude, this show, like, it was so different because I think we had already been to a few comedy shows before. But that one was so different because we were like in literally the nosebleed section of like a small comedy club. You know, like they had like the very upper thing opened up. And it seemed like that night, Joe Coy didn't really have material. He was just like roasting, destroying the audience, like just cracking jokes. And it was all hilarious.
Yes.
And then at some point, he started singing like 90s R&B. And it turned into a comedy 90s R&B show.
Concert.
And comedy R&B show concert.
He can sing.
And we were like, dude, I don't know what the fuck this just was, pretty much, right?
But
like,
it was great.
But it was an incredible night. And I think it was like that first night we were like, dude, whenever he comes to town, we're going to go check him out.
Yes.
So he came back and we went and we checked him out. So it turns out we ended up going to see him twice at the Improv. Twice at Stand Up Live. We saw him twice at Celebrity Theater. Last time he came to town, he was doing the big arena at the Footprint Center. And then this couple days ago, he was in Prescott. So we saw him there. But one of the times that he was here at one of the smaller comedy clubs, right in the beginning of COVID, because at that time, comedians couldn't travel, couldn't do anything. We had just started the podcast not that long ago. And I think Joe Coy might have been like episode 100 and one of the early 100 episodes. And I had made flyers for this podcast, and I was like, fuck it. Like, I know a lot of people that listen to comedy listen to podcasts because comedians have podcasts. I was like, I'm just going to go to places and hand out flyers. And Joe Coy came to town one day or one year. And the night that we weren't going to the show, we went and we were handing out flyers in the parking lot.
We're putting flyers on all the cars.
Yeah.
And the day of the show.
We went, we put flyers on the car. And we ended up meeting Joe Coy's sister.
And we were handing them out to everyone in the line as well.
In the lines of the shows and all that stuff. And then I went in and I met Joe Coy's sister. And I knew part of his story. Joe Coy's story was that when he was coming up in comedy, had flyers that he would make of himself and shows that he was doing, and he would hand out flyers. And apparently he was doing the show, so he couldn't come out to see me, but his sister gave him my flyer. And then he came back to town the next time, and when we went back to see him, I held up a flyer. This may have been like a year later.
Yeah.
Right? And I held up the flyer that his sister gave him like the year before, and he told us, he's like, I took your flyer and I put it in my bag. And when you held it up, I remembered the flyer.
Yeah.
And when he saw the flyer, I think it must have been like a while back. He was like, I'm doing that. I'm doing your show. So he ended up coming on the podcast. And and we've been going to see him like whenever he comes to town. This last show in Prescott was our 8th show going to see him. And it was the first comedy show that our kids have ever been to.
And now he's huge. Like,
dude,
the last one that we went to, he said he was going to be on the podcast again, but it's been so difficult to get him back on because he's just that big now. He's has a Netflix
done Disney
special.
movies.
Yeah, like he's grown that much since then.
He's done he's done the Golden Globes.
We, after the show, normally, and we know this, he will sign autographs, whatever, he will sign whatever it is. He'll give out shirts, all this stuff. So we waited. A lot of people left, right? Because everyone's in a hurry to leave after the show, but we know. So we stayed, and then we made our way up to the front, and sure enough, there he is, like just giving stuff out and
signing autographs and saying what's up and taking pictures.
Yeah. And
he does that at, dude, arena shows. and he'll come out and he freaking it, like he stays and signs autographs.
Yeah. And so we were at the very front, and I was thinking, okay, because we wanted to talk to him, get a picture with him, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is really crazy and really loud. We may not be able to. And every show that we attended, we got to see him. We got to take a picture with him. Yeah. And so he ended up coming down, and Joey got his shirt, and we ended up talking, and you shared with him.
Yeah, when he was kind of like standing over us on the stage signing stuff, and I kind of yelled out, I was like, hey, Joe, this is our 8th show. And when he looked down, because I knew, like, he's done our podcast, and he's like, we've seen him at a few shows now.
Yeah.
And I knew that if he saw your curly hair, he's probably going to recognize you, and probably, he may recognize me. But then also, we brought our kids this time,
right?
And I was hoping that our, that
kids would
we
get
could
to
get to introduce them. And dude, as soon as he like heard like 8th show, he kind of looked up, and he was like, them right there, like bring them to the back.
Yeah, that was so crazy.
And he just like in his back pocket had like wristbands and handed us some wristbands, or somebody handed us wristbands like in that moment, and they were like, yeah, follow us to the back.
Yeah,
dude, and he was running around because he had to go somewhere, but.
Yeah, I think he was leaving right after, so it was going to be very short.
But in that moment, in the back of the arena, like there was a couple other people back there, but it was really just us. And he came by, spent a couple minutes with us, took a video with us, took some pictures. And his assistant came by, and he's like, dude, hook them up with some stuff. And we kind of, talked for a little bit. But, I mean, he didn't have to do any of that stuff. Like, dude, I was just wanting him to like look so that I could take a selfie with our kids.
Yes.
I would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
But dude, that was amazing.
He's a great man. Like, he's just that, right? Very humble, very real, very, very vulnerable. And that's what I'm telling you. When he was up there, he was going with a joke, and then he said, I don't know where this is going.
Oh,
but, right? Like, it was just like so real and so authentic.
Well, he was also talking about like, like they work this stuff out, like a lot of the stuff comes out on the Netflix special, and, you got to work these jokes out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously we're fans. We've been,
that is what makes, I don't care who it is. Right? The reason, like, for me, when I do a video on social media, I really get out of my head and go into my heart. And I know the ones where I'm speaking from my heart. And I can tell when I'm in my head, like worrying about, what are you saying? How do you look? People are going to judge you. All that bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And go within my heart, right? And that's what vulnerability is a strength. When people can see you, when people can truly see who you are, that's when the connection is made.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was awesome. And also, like, I think about it every once in a while, like when he comes to town, and I think I got a chance to tell him, but I would tell him like every time I get the chance to, hopefully we'll get him on the podcast again. I'll email his sister and send them some pictures of us. But it really is cool, like, to see, like, how gracious he is, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't have to take us backstage. No. He didn't have to do our podcast back in the day. He didn't have to sign shit. He doesn't have to give us stuff.
Nothing, And there's no expectation, by the way.
No. And no to see that he's gone from doing the improv and the stand-up live, which is awesome. There are comedy shows here in town, but it's not doing celebrity theater. Yeah. Celebrity theater holds a lot more people. And then he did that, and we were there to see him do that. Yeah. Celebrity theater is not the Footprint Center. That holds a lot more people. So to be able to see him go from these small places to the bigger places to now fucking arenas.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is awesome. Mm-hmm. And also, we were in the nosebleeds at the improv. Mm-hmm. We've been on the floor for the last two.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's nuts. Oh, what's so funny is that he had mentioned when he was on stage, if you are a parent and you brought your kids,
oh my God.
Like he even said 4, didn't he say? Like there's 4 of you, have your,
yep.
And the ages were so, I was just like,
it was like spot on. He's like talking to us right now.
Yeah. And when he met the kids, he's like, oh, you guys are going to have a lot of explaining to do on the ride home.
Dude, it was in Prescott. So from where we're at, it was a 2-hour drive there and a 2-hour drive back. And dude, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
You know, so
and he gave us a bunch of free merch. Like on top of meeting us, taking pictures, doing a video with us, he's like hook them up with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the kids got sweaters. Dude. Like it was amazing. But what I was going to share is the kids had show was on Thursday. The kids had school on Friday, right? And we told the kids, if you want to go to school, go to school. If not, whatever, right? Because we're not going to get home till 8. Listen.
Yeah, we didn't get home till like after 1 in the morning.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's okay.
Dude.
To do, these spontaneous things with your kids, to build these memories, these moments, and tell them, you don't need tomorrow. If you don't want to go to school, you don't have to go to school.
Dude, to be able to go to your first comedy show with your parents.
Yeah.
And meet the comedian backstage and have that experience is you can catch up the other shit.
Yeah. But you'll be all right. It doesn't even,
even
if you're like, you want to spend a day with your kid and keep them out of school, for a day or whatever, and go take them out somewhere. It's like, it shows them. It's I don't know. There's.
Yeah, it's like, even if it's like a day where it could just be you and them, and know it's going to be empty wherever you want to go because it's the middle of the week.
Yeah.
It's like Wednesday or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
Take that time.
Dude,
Take that time out. It's not that serious. Take that time out.
Yeah.
Right? Let them miss a day of school. Right? Spend that quality time with them. Have fun with them. Allow them to show you how to have fun. Allow them to show you how to have fun. Because so many of us, we have lost that.
Yeah.
We have lost that. We don't know how to play.
You were talking about that last week or the week before when the guy was trying to shit on you while you were jump roping.
Yeah.
It's like, get out of here, you freaking miserable. Yeah.
And that does take awareness. Really, like, when was the last time you danced like nobody was watching? You sang like nobody was around.
When was I was dancing the other day? You were watching me.
Yeah. But do you see what I'm saying, though? That's an awareness, though. Yeah. It's like, stop taking yourself so serious.
Yeah.
Stop taking life so fucking serious.
I was just talking to one of the guys about that today. So today, for those of you that don't know, I have a fighting podcast called Fighting for Your Life. Go and check that out. You can find the Fight Life Pod on everything. It's also a video on YouTube and Spotify and everything else. But
He's got some merch now, some really nice sweaters.
You guys can look up Fighting for Your Life podcast hoodies on Amazon. You'll get them in a couple days. You can do Amazon.
Order them through our link, through our website.
Yep. But so I got together on one of the episodes. I'm always like looking at ways to or things to do, like create. That's another thing that we need to talk about. But I'm into fighting, and I'm like, well, fighting podcast. I got my blue belt. I got to start a podcast now, right? Like that thing that I showed you. But it's always like thinking, I watch a YouTube video. Like my thought is just the way my brain works. It's a creation type brain. Like if I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm taking the video in, but I'm also like, if it's something that I'm into, something that I'm doing, I'm like, can I get a hold of this guy? Like I told you, there's this dude that's huge on YouTube, Tommy G. And he was interviewing these backyard street fighters, and he's got millions of subscribers on his channel. And I'm watching this video with these backyard street fighters, and I'm like, dude, they're fighting in the desert somewhere. That looks like it could be around here. Like, this looks very familiar. And then turns out they're in Mesa, right where we live, like 20, 25 minutes away. Like, holy shit. So I hit these guys up, and they're like, we go to their backyard fights. Like, not stuff that you would typically be like around.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be like really cool, like awesome people. And they put together just a get together, a basketball game, football game or whatever. And we ended up playing basketball.
That was today.
Which was today. Yeah. So we got together today and played basketball, and it was awesome. And even just in the course of playing basketball after the game, we were just kind of sitting down talking to some of the guys, and
Our kids were with us, their wives, like we were all there, just kind of like hanging out, chit-chatting.
Yeah, just hanging out after the game.
Yeah.
And, one of the guys was kind of talking about some of the things that he had going on. And it's kind of like, I was just saying that, like I've been saying on the last couple podcasts, is like when you look at the big picture and you really think about like what is important, a lot of things that we let stress us out, a lot of people that we let piss us off, a lot of the things that we take so fucking serious don't really matter.
Yeah.
It's not that important in the grand scheme of things.
And that's what Joe Coy was talking about. Right? Wasn't he talking about that? Like,
it's like, I think it's like he said,
as
you
rage.
Get older.
He's talking about road rage and how some people are freaking crazy.
He's talking about like when you're young and you're fucking losing your mind, and then you get older.
Testosterone, and
someone's in a hurry, or someone's got somewhere to be, or something. Like that's just.
He's like, these days people have guns in their car, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it worth dying over? Like, is it?
Yeah, I mean, we live in Arizona. That's shit. That is what it is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes.
But what the heck was I going to tell you? Oh, yeah. Before we get out of here, another gigantic thing that has happened. Trump won.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't talk dude.
We got a lot of stuff going on.
Dude, it's been crazy. Like so much stuff has happened. Yeah, Trump won, so he's going to be the next president now. Like that's official.
From that, social media, the following day was a shit show. And it was so heartbreaking to see like family against family, friends that were once friends, no longer friends. I'm just like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how is that? This separation, this division, it's, it was very heartbreaking to see that.
Yeah.
So, of course, I put a post about loving each other, seeing each other. And it's been that. It's been that since.
I think it's crazy because I don't really want to talk about this stuff anymore.
Yeah, well, it's done.
No, I understand, but like at the same time, like I feel like it's really not that serious, but it is important, and like I don't want to like continue talking about it, but at the same time, like I made a video recently that we just got completely destroyed on, like all kinds of thumbs down, all kinds of comments talking shit, and I'm completely cool with that because Joe Rogan came out a couple of days ago saying the same exact thing that I was saying in the clip that I put out. And you notice she's having a dream. You notice like look, just to be honest, we voted for Trump. I voted for Trump. You can say I gave it up. Fuck it. But just because like we talked about last week or a couple weeks ago in that video, it was like, if something goes down, who do you want in?
Yeah.
You know what? I would rather have him in than either one of the other people that are in right now. I may not like everything that he does, but at least if shit hits the fan, I think he would do a better job, or he would maybe keep us out of trouble. People may not want to fuck with him as much as they would try to fuck with some of these other people in the world. I don't know. And I may be wrong. How about that? But there's so many times that you talk to people about one side or the other. And I'm telling you that I voted for Trump. And when I talk to somebody that is on his side and I say something critical about Trump,
we just lost probably half our listeners
I don't
because
care.
of that.
I don't care. But
that's how it is these days.
Exactly,
it's ridiculous.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you've been listening to us for 5 years.
And I could say something, I just said we voted for the guy. And I could be saying something critical like in that video saying like, hey, you have the opportunity on the biggest podcast in the world to share what your plans are for the future and share exactly how you're going to take care of these border problems, how you're going to take care of all this stuff, right? But instead, you sat and talked about how handsome the pilots were on Air Force One, how dark it was because they had to turn all the lights off and all this other stuff. You know, like, I voted for the guy. And if you can't even just be like, I understand where you're coming from, or you just start deflecting to the other team, like, well, the other side can't even.
Yeah.
Dude, we're not talking.
Like
I agree with you. The other side's fucked up, but that's not what I'm talking about right now.
And they had no idea who we were going to vote for. They just judged by what was being said. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, but the other side can't even. And it's like, no, dude, I get it. I get the other side.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that. Like, let's not pretend that this side is great. Like, I'm down. This is better. This is the best we got.
Right. Yeah.
But let's not make pretend. Like, there's nuance to this stuff. A lot of stuff, people want things to be black and white. Black and white. And it's not. There's a lot of gray area in a lot of stuff. A lot of things that people think are what they are not. People make them into what these things, you make them fucking hell. You get tricked into these things by the media, by people manipulating information. Trump is racist. Like, dude, just to be real, like, I mean, I don't ever remember him being racist, dude. I grew up in New York. Trump was an icon in New York City. He was from New York. Trump Tower, like, rappers had songs about him. Everybody, like, you never heard. He had the Celebrity Apprentice, the show, like, that went on for I don't know how long. He wasn't racist then. He was in boxing.
Right.
But all of a sudden, like, now.
When he was running for president, all this shit was just
Now you can say that we've been brainwashed or whatever, but dude, is it not apparent?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, so, like, some stuff is what it is, and some stuff you get tricked into fucking believing stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Which is what makes things hard, you know, to figure out.
Right.
Which is why
we don't know what the truth is, right? Things are being shared on the news, right? Social media, but what is the actual truth?
So this is the thing. But look, this is what it is. So for the people that maybe are on the other side, whatever that side may be, like, I can admit that we voted for one side, but man, it's tough because there are things that I wish were better. I wish we had better options. I don't believe that everything is just great on this side. I feel, like I said, it's the best option that we have.
Yeah. But
can you guys admit that too? That your side could do better? That there's a lot of shit fucked up on that side? Can you admit that?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you can, then maybe don't look at people on the other side like they're fucking idiots or like they're racists because they pick somebody, or like these people are just a bunch of fucking clowns or morons because they believe whatever. Like, dude.
I think there is a lot of fear-based information that is out there. And a lot of people that were voting for the other side were hoping that side would win because of the fear that has been conditioned, like the information that's been out there about what's happening in the world right now.
This is one thing I want to end on real quick. Because earlier this morning, we were watching a video with Joe Rogan and one of his friends. And one thing that they were talking about is that the politics that you see today, right? These parties that we have, this is not the same parties that you saw back in the day. Like, when you really think about the Republicans, the Democrats from like when we grew up, and like what they were trying to do back then, it seems like this is something different. Like, this has been manipulated.
Yeah.
Right?
Into its own little monster.
And yeah, that's what they were saying, like, literally. But you know what I think about now is that I've told you guys that recently I started checking out this book called The Jefferson Bible. And in the Jefferson Bible, they have stories about how in the government, in Congress, they tried to keep the Jefferson Bible out. and how people in the government were fighting to put it in, and how they were saying that it should be a part of history and this and that or whatever. And it just kind of gives you an idea of the evolution of the government and like what it became, you know, like what they were trying to do back then and like what they felt was right and what they were fighting for. And then just the fucking disaster that it is today. Right. So if it has completely just gotten out of fucking hand and it is just some fucking monster, some monstrosity that has been just taken out of control, why would you allow that to come between you and your family, you and people that you've been friends with for however fucking long,
or people that you supposedly love? Love doesn't have conditions. Dude. Love is unconditional. There are no conditions. So it questions, like when I was seeing this, it's just like, really?
Dude, and I really feel, depending on, like, I grew up in New York. I have a lot of friends in New York. I have a lot of family in New York.
Yeah.
And I've been living in Arizona for 20 plus years now. And I lean more towards the right. And a lot of my friends that have lived, and continue to live in New York lean more towards the left. I have a feeling that this has something to do with it.
Yeah. The information that
all the people that we live around
that's
like
being fed.
I don't think you can avoid this stuff.
Yeah, or being shared.
But if you're aware of it, you could try to compensate a little bit, but don't fucking go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Because when the news that is shared with us is different than the news that is shared with them.
Yeah.
What's being pushed out.
No, but it's not even the same anymore because we do it to ourselves.
Because we look for the information through certain sources.
Programming our own algorithms.
Yeah. With the technology that's in the palm of our hand, which knows us better than what we know ourselves.
But the thing is that for some reason, somehow, when you live here in Arizona, people are like Trump, 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 which is what I hear, which gets into my algorithm. My algorithm starts Trump, Trump, Trump. But when you're in New York, they have a different thing that they talk about when they go to work. They have a different thing that comes into their algorithm. They see different stuff. Yeah. You know, how does that even happen? Like, but
disconnect from everything and go outside. Go play with rocks and go hug a tree.
But when you can just take in the thought that if possibly I am from New York, a native, born and raised. There's something about me that makes me think that I have a feeling if I would have stayed, worked, and never left, I may have a completely different political opinion.
Yeah.
Completely different. And what does that make me? Who am I? Who am I at that point?
Only you know that.
Right? Yeah. So anyway, and with that, make sure you guys go to our website, share the podcast, do all that stuff like we said before, comment, subscribe, let people know that it's out there.
Yes, thank you guys for your love.
And check out Joe Coy wherever he's at, wherever you see him, go and see him, check out his books, check out his movies, his Netflix specials, all that stuff, dude. He's an incredible guy. Yeah, definitely. Yes. We always support him. You guys check him out too.
Yes. Thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract podcast.
Where we get better
together.
Bye.
Bye.